Hi Shaina.
Hi, Alicia.
Welcome to another episode of OfferX Beyond the Offer.
Thank you so much.
We are so happy to have you as a guest at our podcast today. So, 15 years of work experience, and that's long. And 5 years at Stagbox Services Private Limited as HR lead.
Correct, that is.
Okay, I got the intro right, but that won't suffice, and I would need a little bit of your journey from you so that our viewers know more of you and your journey as HR and in other areas of work. What have you done so far? What brings you here? And maybe a little bit about why you joined or why you thought HR as a profession.
So, 15 years it has been, and I started in a STEM career as a solar electrical engineer, and then it transpired into project management, a little bit of operations, and this was predominantly for a period of 10 years. I was handling teams over there. I was responsible for a large number of people, commissioning power plants in different parts of India. Thereafter, post-COVID, I had the good opportunity of stepping in Stagbox, where I am right now. And people management was something that came very naturally to me because I have been handling people. And I feel being from the other side of the table, I know what employees expect out of HRs as a whole. And so designing employee benefits, ensuring talent acquisition, even there when I was working as a project management and now shifting into a hardcore HR role, has been somewhat easy. And Stagbox entrusted me with a very big responsibility of nurturing their talent. And I think it has been so far a journey with a lot of learning and a lot of growth.
That's nice. So, do you think when you were talking about people management, do you think, I'm sure you have been in love with your profession, and HR simply means human resources, and you are connected to all sorts of people out there. But do you think at any point of time this role of yours is challenging? Do you think handling people or handling people's journey from onboarding them to giving them an offer letter, then handling them in the company to smoothly offboarding them or their transition to another company or from another company to your company, is it a challenging journey?
No journey would have been meaningful without challenges. And I embrace it with a lot of heart. And I think Stagbox's culture has been such where we have nurtured talent, where we have let people be and bring out the best in them. And I am doing every day that thing. And this is what enriches my journey here. So I think I would love to keep getting those challenges, working on them, and provide solutions on them, definitely.
Now that you're here and our podcast revolves around this, so let's get started. Let's get started and dive into multiple segments that we have. As you said, we would also like to hear about your challenges, your journey, and looking forward to your solutions, your approach, your point of view towards the whole concept of onboarding, offboarding, ghosting, and last minute drops out. There's so many things that happens and so many challenges. I'm sure you have tackled them all. So should we get started?
Absolutely. Okay.
So Shaina, with that note, let's begin our first segment. Okay, it's called Ghosts from Your Past.
Okay.
So no real horror stories, but since you have been in HR for so long, I'm sure you have been ghosted too. That's nothing new. I'm sure there must have been last-minute dropouts, backouts, and people who have not informed you at all, ghosted you for no reason. Maybe there have been times where you have been trying so hard to onboard an employee or gone lengths to actually convince them to join your company or have done everything right, but somehow they ghosted you. And all HRs on our show, or otherwise, have faced this. So let's hear it from you. What's your story?
So ghosting, if you ask me particularly, Alisha, I wouldn't say that it has been a very common occurrence in Stagbox. But again, at the same time, we are not totally immune to it. If not like as frequently as any other company, we do have a few horror stories. And yes, we have been ghosted as well, despite of doing things perfectly as per order. And I have no complaints about the way I or my team handled it. But yes, it does happen.
So tell us about this one time story, maybe for our viewers or all the hiring and HR fraternity who's listening to this podcast. There must have been one turning point or one story which left kind of a scar, and then you have been a little more careful. They say once bitten, twice shy, and then you have been a little more careful about how you hire, how you onboard. Was there any such story from your past that you want to share with our viewers?
So I would recall one of the recent ones where we were engaged in onboarding a very senior profile, and during the whole period, I can assure you that we were engaged. We kept him engaged, and we were trying to be as authentic, and we were inviting authenticity from the candidate as well. And there were a few red flags, definitely, but on the basis of that, you really cannot withdraw an offer. That is not at all professional. And we as a company have always learned to trust our people, whether they are already in our system or they're about to enter. So ensuring that we are keeping our core values intact about trusting people, about letting them be, we continued that, okay? And just when all my other team members were ready to ensure that he has a smooth onboarding, on that very morning before the working hours, I received an email in my inbox that due to some unforeseen incident, he cannot join. Okay. Though this was something I kept feeling, but there was very little that I could do to protect myself. So that definitely happened, and it didn't come like a very big shock, but it definitely leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And that's what I would highlight right now. Yeah.
So, do you think these kind of behavior? I heard you saying there was a red flag, or there were a couple of red flags. I'm sure, as a hiring manager, HR lead, or someone from the hiring team, we come across so many such situations that we can identify red flags. But as a huge team, where also, in staffing agencies or companies with a lot of people, when you're hiring, there's a lot of pressure, and when you're hiring has a lot of fire. So, do you think catching red flags in every other person is a task? Do you think that there should be, places or there should be platforms where you can actually track these red flags instead of just doing the guesswork, instead of guessing that, okay, like you did, there was a guesswork. Okay, this person might have a red flag, but that came out to be true. But do you think that if there was a platform or a tool at place which could catch these red flags, that could have made your journey smoother?
Definitely. I mean, if there are well recognized platforms which are being engaged by many more companies, I think we can do a substantial amount of work in improving the whole system in totality. So that is very important, and be it candidate traceability or something which is very well placed in terms of SOPs in place to check for, it saves you a lot of time, makes a decision taker's life a little simpler. Definitely, yes.
Okay, so we come to the end of the segment, but before that, I would want to ask you, what was your lesson learned, the biggest lesson you learned from this entire situation you had with this candidate, and what word of advice you would want to pass on to our viewers?
It is important that whatever red flags you are noticing, you make a point to document them and share it with the respective departments who will directly get impacted. Because when you are having a hiring in place, it's just not a HR's hard work. It is all those departments involved who will be onboarding a candidate. They are all involved. Everyone loses time. Everyone's efficiency and productivity somewhere gets impacted down the line. So it is important that you keep those stakeholders informed, so that it's not a shock that you're absorbing alone. And they are also prepared to some extent so that there are plans B which are ready to implement.
So always have a backup ready, always have a plan B ready. That's your lesson learned. Okay. So with this, we come to an end of segment 1 and we'll move forward to the next segment. Now we have reached to our second segment. We have shed off all the burdens from the past in the first segment, and let's make it a bit more fun for you. So this segment is called Traffic Stop. Okay, so what we have to do here is, we all know what's a traffic stop, right? For something, when it's red, you stop. It's green, go. If amber, you get ready. But in this case, if you feel my statements don't align with your thoughts, you will say red. If they align with your thoughts, if you agree to it, you have to say green. And if you feel yes, no, maybe, then it's an amber. Okay, so you cannot answer with words, all you have to answer is with colors. So should we get started? I'll pull my box of questions right now and I'll start asking you. Okay? Okay, my first question to you is, candidate ghosting entirely the candidate's fault? Okay. Should recruiters be more transparent about offer details upfront?
Green.
Are hiring managers equally responsible for dropouts? Do you think using OfferX as a platform can eliminate candidate ghosting? Okay. Would features like offer punching and tracking candidates actively after accepting offer would help recruiters make better hiring decisions? Well played, China. That was fun. Let's move to the next round. Okay. Last but not the least, we have reached to almost the end of the podcast, but there's one more interesting segment left. And this segment is called Pick and Speak. So you would not be aware of the topic you would be speaking about, but as a HR, I'm sure you would be having a lot of ideas about in and around the same topic. So I'll give you some papers, some numbers are written on it. It's quite interesting. I have the related topics with me. Okay, so you just have to tell me the numbers and I'll tell you the topics, and you have to tell our viewers, me and everyone listening, that what do you feel about that topic. That is one. Second, if you had any experience regarding the same, and if you want to provide solutions, if you want to talk about it, throw some light here and there, it's all on you.
Okay, let's go for it.
Let's start Pick and Speak.
Yes.
I will now give you a bag full of papers and you have to pick something for me.
Let's go for it.
Okay, pick one more. It's two. Okay, read out the numbers that are with you.
So I have number 6 and number 11.
Okay, let's get started.
Here you go.
Okay, so Shaina, are you ready?
Yes.
So I'll be reading out topics against the numbers that you picked. Let me get started. The first number you picked was number 6.
Yes.
So the first topic for today is, should companies blacklist candidates who repeatedly ghost after accepting offers?
Well, no. Just because it's a two-way street. Just the way a candidate cannot blacklist a company for withdrawing an offer, I think the other way around should also not happen. And this is not the way to put in place trust and put in place accountability. There should be other metrics available to track and make people accountable. And as a whole, I feel, and again, coming back to your last segment where you said that our managers or hiring managers equally responsible, to some extent, it's a system that we are building, where you also ensure that you are giving proper response to every candidate who's spending time on your hiring process, and you also don't leave any candidate ghosted. And thereafter, you can also expect, you have the right to expect that no one should leave you ghosted. So we need to put those controls in place as a whole hiring or as a whole HR fraternity. Then we can think about measuring these matrices. But yes, blacklisting, no, definitely not.
Right. I like how you have put the trust word as a priority, and how you feel that tracking something is more necessary, like not reaching to the conclusion or dropping bombs on somebody and just blacklisting. Tracking metrics are the major key to achieving a success as a community, as a HR community. So I really feel that this thought process of yours is really great, and it aligns to both candidates and HR.
Absolutely.
That is, it should be, I think both parties' interests should be considered when we are doing something like this. So well said, China. You've picked another number 11. Okay, let me read out the topic for you right now. So, number 11, are thank you emails after interviews necessary, or do they have no impact at all?
Um, it is necessary to give closure. Okay. Just the way you don't like getting ghosted, candidates also don't like getting ghosted. They need to have an answer whether they've made it or not, and to acknowledge that they have interacted with a human in my company, giving that impression and leaving the doors open for another round, if not this opportunity, if some future opportunities come up. A proper closure, whether it's a thank you or however you would like to put it, it is important. And we need to acknowledge people for the time that they're spending interviewing with us or with any other company. It's all the same for them until unless the job opportunity really transpires into a real job. So that is important. I think it's non-negotiable for me. Yeah.
A thank you and a hello goes a long way. The first and last impression you leave with anyone, even just anyone you meet, is so important. And in this case, when you are actually building a process of trust, I think thank you emails are so necessary. Okay. So with that and with your wonderful answers, Shaina, we come to the end of the segment Pick and Speak. You've been doing great so far, and with that, we sadly move to the last segment. We do not want to end this with you, but we have no choice. So let's get started and move to a very, very last segment. You ready for it?
Absolutely.
With so many insights, solutions, and your stories, we have reached to the last segment. It's hard for us to bid goodbyes to, but we have to. And this is the last segment. It's a challenge for you. It's called OfferX, the experience.
Okay.
So remember when we were playing this game, Traffic Stop, and you were green on the fact that you would want to use features like offer punching over a platform, which allows you to track candidates. The red flags, the green flags, and both. So you've been all about tracking candidates, having the right metrics at place. So I would want to give you an opportunity to use OfferX for 30 days as a challenge and record your experience post 30 days. So are you game for it?
Why not? I mean, I'm very confident about my company's culture, and for candidate ghosting or tracking, I don't think I would like to negotiate anything of that. But when it comes to tracing with proper metrics, if there is a platform to do that, and for 30 days, I'm game to it.
Okay. So thank you, Shaina. Thanks for saying yes. And I'll meet you again. I'll talk to you again post 30 days. And with that, the last segment is over.
Thank you so much, Alicia, for having me in your program. It was wonderful interacting with you. I hope you had the similar experience.
I did. The podcast that I have just started with so many guests over is so far a very lovely experience, because talking to people on the other side of the table 101 gives us a lot of insight. So it's not always about our perspective or our idea of the product. It's also about what people think. Are they relating to the pain? Are they looking for a solution? And with this, we actually reach out to a lot of viewers who are watching this, who want to know about it. You know, what better platform than a podcast to reaching out to so many people who are dealing with the same issues. Maybe we connect with them, maybe they find a solution with us, they find a solution with you. And it's always so great talking to people. I get to know them personally, professionally, their struggles, and the ways they want to use OfferX. So it's always a win-win. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for coming to the podcast. It's been a great journey with you. And with this note, we end another interesting episode of OfferX Beyond the Offer. Thank you.